Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the March 17th, 2014 City Council meeting order. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Present.
Alderman Valco.
Here.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Cunningham.
Present.
Alderman Conkin.
Present.
Alderman Moiseo.
Present.
Alderman Beedling.
Here.
Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Tempass.
Present.
All present.
Thank you. Invocation, Bishop Coburn, please.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you again for another city council meeting. We thank you for our mayor, for the aldermen. We thank you for our city. We ask that you bless all of our department heads. Help us to do the best we can to make Waukegan a better city. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor's comments. I have a lot. It's unusual for me, but I have a lot of things to say today. On March 13th, Russ Tomlin, Greg Petrie, and I attended the Great Lakes Symposium in Chicago. The topic was designing life along the water's edge. After leaving that seminar, I understood much clearer what we have to do if we're going to be successful on the lakefront. These are my comments on what I got out of the seminar. We must think big and bold. We must partner with businesses and developers in order to move the lakefront forward. We must understand where our community is now and where it's moving to in the future. We must realize and cope with the fact that there may not always be an undercurrent of mistrust, but we have to proceed with development. We must build an open and honest dialogue with our stakeholders. We must foster enthusiasm and trust, and only then will we be prepared to move forward with true lakefront redevelopment. Waukegan currently owns several hundred acres of lakefront. Some have been remediated. Some are in the process of being remediated. We are currently in negotiations to purchase several other lakefront parcels. My intent is to own the whole lakefront. My goal is to do that. In the next 3 years, I hope to acquire all the lakefront property, but that will be up to City Council. We'll see where that goes to. Tonight, I will appoint a Lakefront Beach Committee to assist us as we move Waukegan forward together. This committee will have a daunting task of establishing beach policies as well as maintaining and supporting activities and programs on our beach. In order to unlock the potential of our lake and beach, I intend to form partnerships with the Waukegan Harbor Citizens Advisory Group, CAG, the Waukegan Park District, and the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, to name a few, not only to explore our program needs at the beach, but also to help us as we attempt to secure federal and state grants. This morning I met with Susan Shea, the Director of Aeronautics for the Illinois Department of Transportation, regarding the runway expansion at the Waukegan Airport. During our conversation, we discussed how important Waukegan Airport actually is, not only to Waukegan's economic development, but to Lake County as a whole. The Waukegan Airport supports 663 employees. Last year, its payroll was $32 million, with an economic impact in the county of over $130 million. Substantial. This is a gem that most of us don't even know exists. When I was out there today with the Illinois Department of Transportation and heard the potential development at that airport, I was astounded what they're trying to do out there. Susan Shea informed me that the runway project, coupled with the Green Bay roadway and tunnel extension, will cost an estimated $153 million. And they intend to have this within the next 7 years. It's substantial. I have to admit that the Waukegan Airport will remain a catalyst for change in Waukegan in our quest for future expansion and redevelopment. So all of you who have taken that airport for granted, don't do it anymore. That airport is now a national airport, and I think within the next several years will be an international airport. We have 26, it's the base for 26 corporate jets, 26. Second to only Midway Airport. That's a lot. So we have something there that we don't really appreciate as of yet, but we will. Tonight, I want to appoint new members to the boards. Several of the members, their terms have expired. I thought long and hard about who I wanted, and I got people that I knew could do the job. I got people that are competent, people that are courageous, and people that I knew would help us in our goal to redevelop our community. So tonight, I would like to make these appointments, present them to the council for approval. The Waukegan Economic Development Advisory Board, I'd like to appoint Angelo Kyle. Angelo, would you please step up here? Angelo, please come to the front, please. Greg Petrie. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept my appointments to the Waukegan Economic Development Advisory Board. Motion by Alderman Moiseo, seconded by Alderman Rivera. A roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling.
Pass.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
I vote aye. We usually get a resume, but these two gentlemen, I don't believe they need one coming before this body.
Everyone here I think everyone here that's going to be present tonight, you'll know well. Gentlemen, please say a couple words, if you'd like to, please.
In the mic, please.
In the mic.
Come on, Angelo, this is your first.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council, for this appointment. Certainly, I appreciate the vote of confidence in this capacity. We currently serve in the Department of Commerce and Economic Development with the state of Illinois, where we have already begun bringing new businesses into the city of Waukegan. We have a Chinese company coming in. I've been working with the mayor and Russ Tomlin and other members of my staff. The Polynex company will be coming into the city of Waukegan with approximately 200 new jobs. And we are currently working with them, some business incentives through our office. So we have already hit the ground running. Thank you again, Mayor and City Council, for that opportunity.
Mayor and City Council, thank you for the appointment. I've been involved with the Economic Development Commission, the Renaissance Commission, and the Sunrise Initiative that we've had over the years with Noel and Russ and Robin Shabes over the years, and have worked with many of you on initiatives through the Park District, and just looking forward to continue those relationships and initiatives to, make Waukegan a great place to, as we've always said, a great place to live, work, and play. So I look forward to doing whatever I can to assist you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you both very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great addition to our group. The next people I'd like to step forward are the Waukegan Planning and Zoning Commission, a reappointment of Sarah Griffin. Sarah, would you please step up here? A new appointment of Teddy Anderson. Teddy, would you please step forward? New appointment of Ted Hogue.
Excuse me.
And a reappointment of Ben Grimes. I would entertain a motion to accept my appointments to the Waukegan Planning and Zoning Commission by Alderman Moiseo, seconded by Alderman May, I'm sorry. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Thank you very much for accepting the appointments. Those of you who have been on the board, you know what to expect. Those of you coming on, I've known you both for a long time, and I know you can do the job well, and I know that your heart and everything about you is in the best interest of this community. So I welcome the new ones to the board. If you'd like to say something, please. If not, that's up to you.
I haven't been at this podium for a while. Thanks for your vote of confidence, and I really look forward to continuing the good work that the council does and the city does. So thanks.
I'd also like to thank you for the opportunity to serve on this committee, and had an opportunity to live in this community for 30 years and see everything that's happened in the community and see a great opportunity for the city, and I'd like to really be a part of it, so I thank you for the opportunity.
This is my 39th year in one commission or another in Waukegan, so I appreciate your confidence and the opportunity to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, council members, it's an honor to continue serving on the Planning and Zoning Committee. Just like the mayor said about the Waukegan Airport, I don't think the people realize how important that commission is. And we have a great, great team. One of our members is back there. We have a fun time. We have a great chairman. The mayor comes. This guy works hard. That's all I can say to people. So we look forward to really, really bringing in a lot of tax dollars to the city. Thanks for your support and your confidence.
Thank you so much. The next board members I'd like to appoint are the Waukegan Historic Preservation Commission. Is Linda McCulloch here? Linda's not here. How about Michael Huff? Michael's not here either. I talked to them both on the phone. And my third appointment is a new appointment. He's very competent. He's done it before. I asked him to come back. I'd like to present to you a new appointment of Dr. Randy Boycott. Randy, would you like to step forward, please? I would entertain a motion to accept my appointments of Linda McCulloch, Randy Huff, and Dr. Randy Boycott to the Waukegan Historic Preservation Committee. Motion by Alderman Moiseo, seconded by Alderman Newsom. A roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
No.
Randy, would you like to say a couple words, please?
I, in retrospect, have been one of the early pioneers in Waukegan, having bought a place on Sheridan Road in 1981 after I got my first real job. Everybody advised me against it. It was one of those 12-room boarding houses that we've become too accustomed to. So on the basis of that, I got to know a lot of wonderful people, and I think got involved in a lot of projects, one of which I took a 2-year sabbatical from my job at Northeastern Illinois, and was responsible for not only developing but implementing the plan at the Haynes Museum. Since that time, I have been wonderfully involved in a very rewarding project. You may have seen the historic markers placed around houses in Waukegan. I research them. I give the people who have paid for them all the documentation as to who owned what, when, and we do all through every owner. And among just the plaque as being an honor, they are really thrilled when they see the history of their house as it's passed into their hands. And I really relish continuing to work with the historical development and a plan which will get back to the origins of what this city should be based upon where it was. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate you. The next appointment that I would like to make would be, I'd like to appoint Alderman Lisa May as the chairman of the Waukegan Beach Committee. It's a daunting task, as I said before, but I know if anyone can do it, Lisa May can. Lisa, would you please announce your committee?
Are we calling it the Lakefront Committee?
You can call it whatever you want to call it.
Yes, I'll serve as chairman. Alderman Tom Conken will be my co-chairman. And I'd like Alderman Moiseo and Alderman Harold Beedling and Alderman Larry Tempest to sit on my committee.
Alderman May, you are now the proud chairman of the Waukegan Lakefront Committee.
I've been preparing it
And
for
I hereby
years.
appoint you to that position.
I've been preparing for it for years, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any comments, Alderman?
Yes, it's a wonderful appointment because she surely has earned her stripes. She's been at that beach many, many years trying to make it better. But the only thing I see, Your Honor, is that we need to change the ordinance that the beach is a committee from this body, and we haven't done that yet. So I think you're a little ahead of the cart. But if I would make a motion, if you need one, to have the Corporation Council draw up the necessary ordinance to make the beach committee, and I think it's way past due, but we need that in the ordinance book to make it an official committee.
Okay, Larry, we will do that. Thank you so much. But I'd like to make this official committee. Would someone make a motion to make the motion by Alderman Tempest, second by Alderman Conken, to agree with my appointment of Lisa May to the chairmanship of the committee and the committee as a whole. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo. Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye, and if I may, Your Honor, make a motion to have the Corporation Council draw up the...
He's already been aware of it. We will do that, sir.
Okay.
Another comment under Mayor, under my comments. On March 13th, two of our police officers were having breakfast at Emily's on Green Bay Road, and one of the women at the restaurant was choking for food. And I'd like to commend one of our new officers, Gregory Cornfield. He performed the Heimlich maneuver and thus saved the woman's life. So I'd like to commend him for that and make it a public knowledge. I attended the Art Walk Saturday, the third annual Waukegan Art Walk. The Sidecar Studio opened up on Saturday. 125 people attended. It was so crowded we couldn't get them all in, so we went outside. I'd like to commend David Motley for his dedication and commitment to the arts. I'd also like to commend the Sidecar for going into that space. The Art Walk itself was wonderful. I went to every one of the art studios and to the different restaurants and bars. Of course I did that. But it was absolutely wonderful to see our downtown crowded. It was a wonderful experience. So, David, thank you so much, not as your dad, but as your mayor. There's been some, I would say, controversy about home demolitions. Today, we knocked a home down on Bluff Court, and there were complaints about its historic value. It had been abandoned for 7 years, and I questioned the historic value. Is the historic value its crime-ridden past or its gang affiliation? If that's the case, it's misguided. It was a piece of garbage. It never should have existed 7 years past its prime. And people who have questions about that need to come see me personally. These are plagues on our society and plagues on our city. And I can guarantee you, we have 10 more, and they're going to come down as soon as I can possibly get them down. So there's no historic value on a gang house, none. There's no historic value on a place that does nothing but cause misery and dissent. So I will not apologize for tearing down garbage. That being said, there is no audience time. A motion to approve the minutes from March 3rd, 2014. Motion by Alderman Conken, second by Alderman Valco. All's in favor? Aye. Opposed? There are no resolutions, proclamations, presentation, or appointments. I did that already. The Labor Relations Committee met this evening. We talked about the salary for the non-union employees. There were some issues, a little bit of controversy, and rather than bring it to the council, the decision was made to hold it in the committee. So the Labor Relations Committee, it's been held in committee, and we'll bring it out as soon as we correct the ills with the ordinance. Finance Committee, Alderman Valco.
Thank you, Mayor. Finance Committee met this evening, several issues. The first one is a motion to amend the amount of fines charged associated with the following sections of Chapter 21, the traffic and motor vehicles. Those are city ordinances. Number one, the ordinance amending Section 21-42, that's the starting of parked vehicles. Number two, the ordinance amending Section 21-125, that is the parking of vehicles that are for sale or repair, and parking vehicles bearing expired, invalid, or no registration. Number three, the ordinance amending Section 21-216, that is the lights on your vehicle. Number four, the ordinance amending Section 21-219, that is the mufflers on your vehicle. Number five, ordinance amending Section 21-222, the brakes. Number six, ordinance amending Section 21-223, that's the restriction as to the tire equipment. And finally, number seven, the ordinance amending Section 21-225, that is other equipment on the vehicle. And Mayor, I will make that motion, and then I will explain some things after there's a second, sir.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom.
What we're doing here, Mayor, is we're raising the compliance tickets from $35 to $50. For those in the audience and those that will be viewing this at home, compliant violation tickets provide police officers with an option to issue a compliance ticket to a motorist instead of a state traffic citation. A motorist found liable for a compliance violation would result in that motorist receiving a fine far less than that if a motorist was found guilty of a state traffic citation. Furthermore, compliance violations are not reported to the Secretary of State and therefore do not count as a conviction against the person's driver's license as a state traffic ticket would. Compliance violation findings are civil in nature and are subject to administrative review by a hearing officer, where a traffic citation is subject to review in traffic court by a judge. And normally, Mayor, the traffic citations in the state court are $120. They went up from $75 several years ago. So what we're doing is asking it to go from $35 to $50, and that's what all these encompassed are. Simple $15, sir.
You want to do all these by omnibus, all 7 of them?
Yes, sir. They're all
Okay.
under one. We can
Okay.
just do it. Yes, sir.
Okay, motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Your Honor, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
On these. And I guess I need some explanation as to, when we say lights, what do we mean by lights and muffler and brakes and restrictions to equipment? So I don't know what those mean.
Alderman, currently, it's nothing's changed here from what was before. The violations remain the same. If a headlight is broken or something, a muffler is not functioning, that is still the same offense. The only thing changing here is they're going to increase the fine by $15. Everything else remains the same. The ordinance is as it was before the increase occurred.
So just so I'm clear, when we say lights, if I think the state law states that if one headlight is out, you receive a citation. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Muffler. The muffler can't be too loud. Those are
Correct.
state orders. All right.
Yes.
I want to be clear.
Yeah, that's what it
Brakes.
is.
what do you mean by brakes? What does brakes have to do with?
If I may, Mayor?
Go ahead, Alderman Valco.
Alderman, the brakes are, let's say you have a traffic accident and you rear-end somebody and you get out of the car to the officer and you say, oh, my brakes failed, or I know my brakes were low. You get a citation because you knew that your brakes were low, and that's what it does.
Okay.
All the other things are just equipment on the car, your license plate light, your headlights, your rear tail light, the muffler, as you said. You have a faulty muffler, or your exhaust pipes per se are corroded and excessive noise is coming out. Nothing has changed. We're just upping the compliance ticket from $35 to $50. The officer has a choice whether to write you a state ticket for $125 that the city of Waukegan, I believe, gets like 17 or 17 or 18% of the $125. Where on a compliance ticket, the city gets the whole thing.
Okay, thank you.
And officer discretion there a little bit can be used. It won't
Yes, sir.
bother
It's
the
totally up to the officer. Yes, sir.
So you give the officer a little better feel of what he's really doing.
Correct.
Right.
Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Passes, Mayor.
Thank you. Item B is a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the amount of annual alarm permit fee charged pursuant to Chapter 15 offenses and miscellaneous provisions of Section 15-20 subsection B of the Alarm Systems and False Alarms, and I'll have an explanations after I make the motion to so move, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom. Go ahead, Mr. Valco. Alderman Valco.
What we're doing here, Mayor, is the current alarm permit. If you have an alarm in the city of Waukegan, you're supposed to, and most people abide by this, you're supposed to get an alarm permit for $10. What we're doing is we're raising it from $10 to $25, and the reason being, we have approximately 1,100 alarm permits in the city right now. Each month, we have about 350 false alarms. So by the time the one, but usually two police officers comes out to your home or your business, and by the time the city employee does all the alarm permits, sends out all the citations, sends out all the original applications for the license, it's well over $40,000 a year, the city's cost. So what we're doing, sir, is we're raising it from the $10 to $25 because I believe it's about $11,500 that we're getting right now, so we're going to double it, which does not encompass our cost.
Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
I'm going to vote no, and I'm explain my vote. I think you're taking almost a 75% increase on this. Last time I checked, I didn't think we were looking to make any money off these alarms, but somehow prevent them from having a number of false alarms. I strongly object to us going to that dollar amount when it really doesn't cost us that much from a processing standpoint, and I'm speaking of operations, to generate an annual fee for an alarm. It just doesn't. $40,000 to come back just to process alarms? No.
Alderman,
I strongly disagree to that, Mayor.
it costs us $40,000 to process those alarms. And we're making $11,000.
We're not supposed to be making money off of them, Mayor.
And we're not supposed to give money away either.
We're not supposed to lose anything. This is a service to the city of Waukegan.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I would like to hold this matter over, to talk about it a little bit. You're going up from $10 to $25. We've already talked about situation of taking major jumps in fees that we charge the city of Waukegan residents. We've talked about this in the past. This is a major jump from $10 to $25, and there's just no justification for it. You can't tell me it costs you $40,000 per person to send off an annual process. The original cost should be when we first started it. This should be an automatic in most of our computers. Strongly disagree to this. Strongly disagree. It is wrong.
Alderman, do you want to hold this over?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Held over by Alderman Cunningham. Mr. Alderman Valco.
Item C, again, Your Honor, I'll make the motion, and I'll have a comment at the end. Motion to adopt an ordinance amending the amount of the annual video gaming terminal license fee charged pursuant to Chapter 14 licenses and miscellaneous business regulations. That's under Section 14-121, which is gaming prohibited, and I so move, sir.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom. Mr. Alderman Valco, go ahead, please.
Mayor, what we're going to do here, and as I said in committee, I was against this until I looked at the figures. We are going to have an ordinance, as presented tonight. The video gaming machine license is $100 a machine. Each business here in Waukegan can get up to 5 machines. It's $100 a piece. What we're currently going to do, that's proposed in this ordinance, sir, is we're going to make it $1,000 a machine. Now, before everybody gasps and says, why are we doing this? When you get a machine, when a business gets a machine, the individual who puts that machine, the licensed vendor, gets 35% of the profits. The bar owner gets 35% of the profits of every dollar. The state gets 25%. The city of Waukegan gets 5%. So we've been, I don't want to say left in the dust, but we haven't been making as much money as a lot of people thought we were going to make, especially the bar owners in this town are making a heck of a lot of money. The aldermen have it in their packets to see what kind of money these bar owners, the taverns are making. They are making, for those of you in the audience, anywhere from $1,400 to $9,000 a machine per month. Okay? It's a lot of money. So we were charging $100 for each, $150? I'm sorry, I want to be correct, thank you. $150 per machine, and we're going to raise it to $100. I believe, if I'm correct, and Tina, if I'm wrong, we were making about $18,000 a year on the licenses. With this increase, we will be making about $100,000, and that'll be part of our rent. So you can see the businesses, and there's a bunch of businesses here in the city of Waukegan that are making a lot of money. And the city is raising this portion of the license from $150 to $1,000, so they recoup some of that windfall. And Mayor, that's what I have, sir.
When we looked at this, Tina and myself looked at this, we came to the realization that most communities, a lot of communities were charging $1,000 plus, some $1,500. For us, it was just common sense to do something of that nature, to raise our rates. Also, this would help us discourage people from coming into our community, getting a supposed liquor license and food license, and doing nothing but gaming, which is occurring right now. We have a number of operators of these gaming machines who profess to be taverns, and they're actually gaming parlors with a front as a bar/restaurant. This will help discourage that from occurring in our community. We currently have, I think, 23 or 26 that currently have this ability to utilize this gaming license, and I think that this is something that's going to help us substantially in our efforts to make Waukegan a better place to live, work, and play.
Mayor, if I may, please.
Yes.
You alluded to the fact, sir, that some of the communities are right at that figure. Berwyn is $1,000, Burbank is $800, Cicero is $1,500, and Hillside is at $1,000. So they're already up there, so we're not the first to do this, sir.
You're up. Any more comments? If not, roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Your Honor, I have, and I don't mean to belabor this one, but the communities that you sounded off are all Cook County communities, if I'm not mistaken. Do we know what our Lake County communities partners are doing?
It's, you know, it's really irrelevant what they're doing. What we're doing is what means anything to me, what Waukegan does. And Waukegan is in dire need of revitalization. This can help us in that effort. Any further comments, Alderman?
Well, I mean, Mayor, I understand you say you don't care what other communities are doing, but it was, an example was put out, this is what other communities are doing, that's why I'm asking. So if it doesn't matter,
Tina,
don't say it.
did we get numbers for Lake County, Tina?
That's all.
There are some in the attachment.
Thought I just saw it.
What they're charging?
Yeah, they're in there.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't make no way for me at all. I don't gamble, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm just asking.
Yeah. They're in the packet, Alderman.
Okay.
Okay, any other, Alderman Beedling?
A comment was made in committee that this extra revenue, 100% is going into the single employer, the two pension funds, correct?
50%.
Tina, did we talk about, we talked about that, but we didn't agree to that, did we?
50%.
Not of the tax, not of the tax. I mean, not of, no, not of the fees, but of the tax.
The tax.
The fees you can't do on the fees.
Oh,
Okay, but the tax, yes, that's been
Tax.
doing, and that's been since the get-go.
That was state statute, though, that's what.
Okay, roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
No.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next one, item D, motion to authorize the use of bond proceeds to award the contract to who was it? Is that Northern Diver, or what? Is that
Yeah.
Northern Divers?
Yes, sir.
I apologize. The bond pro to contract to Northern Divers in the amount not to exceed $125,000 to fund the repair and replacement of the water plant equipment, specifically the installation of the water plant's traveling water screen, which is budget code 555-916-027-018, and I so move, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Item E, motion to authorize use of bond proceeds to award a contract to CARMIN, C-A-R-M-I-N Construction, in the amount not to exceed $122,800 to fund the repair and replacement of the water plant equipment, specifically the repair of the water plant's concrete entry stairs, budget code 555-916-027018, and I so move, sir.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsome. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
No. And I'd like to comment. I went down and inspected the steps. Yes, they're in need of repairs, but for a bid of $122,000 to replace them. And I know we bid it, but something is wrong. My God, I can build a house for that. Something's wrong. I don't know if we can make wooden steps going up there a lot cheaper or pour over what we got, but $122,000 for steps going up to the water plant. something's wrong with the bid specs or something's wrong, where I'm out of touch with reality. I don't know. Thank you. I vote no.
You're good, Bill.
Thank you, sir. Item F, Mayor, there was an amended motion which passed in the Finance Committee to reword this. It is now reads, a motion to adopt as presented a supplemental ordinance amending the 2004 parking system revenue bond ordinance 04-0-029 of the city of Waukegan, Illinois, and I so move, sir.
Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom to approve as amended. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, what are we doing here when we talking about amending?
Yes, sir, we just changed a couple of words per the attorney that presented this. On your sheet, Alderman, it reads motion to adopt a supplemental ordinance. What they suggested a motion to adopt as presented.
You have the ordinance in your packet.
It's just words, that's all we're doing here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Passes, Mayor.
Thank you.
Item G, Your Honor, I yield to Treasurer Schwab.
Chairman and Mayor, we're required to hold a letter of credit to the Yeoman Creek Remediation Committee in the amount of $2.5 million, costing us $25,000 a year to guarantee our two cash payments of the year that come 6 months apart. We have never defaulted on or been late on any of those, but it's still required. I've asked the new environmental attorney to petition the remediation committee to relieve us of that due to the fact that our finances, I believe, have improved where we are no longer required. The committee didn't decide on that. The EPA stepped in, stating that the amount of money that's still remaining totally is $3.8 million. We have a 35% responsibility, which is $1.3 million, which should be absolutely the max. I believe our finances have improved enough that we should not require this all, but that has not come down, and we're going to have to reinstitute the letter of credit for this next year to cover that. It's end of my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Treasurer Schwab. Public Works Committee, Alderman Moiseo.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item A, request permission to bid commodities. Motion to recommend the City Council authorize the proper city officials to draft specifications, advertise for bids for various commodities for the Public Works Department, including but not limited to the following: water plant chemicals, water meters, copper horn, sewer, and water manhole frames and grates, surface asphalt, binder asphalt, and high-performance cold mix asphalt, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
You can
Alderman
voice-
Valco.
Aye.
You can voice vote this.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Passes, Mayor.
Item B, request to purchase 2014-2015 salt from the State Central Management Contract. Motion to recommend the City Council authorize the proper city officials to participate with the State Central Management Service for the procurement of our rolled salt for the next fiscal year, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
This is a repeat from the Finance Committee, but since it's bond money in my right team, that's why we have to read it twice, all right? Request to award installation of the raw water traveling screen. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to waive the bid procedure and award the contract for the complete installation of the raw water building traveling screen installations in Northern Illinois, Northern Divers USA, for an amount not to exceed $125,000. Funds are available using bond proceeds in line item 555-9160-27018, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Request extension for the current contract of Alum. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to extend the current contract for Alum for an additional year with no price increase from May 1, 2014 until April 30th, 2015 for amount not to exceed $204.19 per wet ton or $419.23 per dry ton. Funds for this are available in line item 55591, 555-25464, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Passes, Mayor. Just so the public knows, what we're doing is buying chemicals to treat and make our water, so that's what all this is. Item E, request extension of the current contract for chlorine. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to extend the current contract for chlorine for an additional year with no price increase from May 1, 14 until April 30th, 15 for an amount not to exceed $416 per ton delivered. Funds for this are available in line item 55591, 555-25464, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Request extension of the current contract for blended phosphate. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to extend the current contract for blended phosphate for an additional year with no price increase from May 1, 14 to April 30th, 15 for an amount not to exceed $42.95 per pound delivered. Funds for this are available in line item 555-9155-25464, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Item C, request extension of the current contract for,
Flusalicic.
thank you, acid. You're going to say it again here in just a minute. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to extend the current contract for
Flusalicic.
acid for an additional year with no price increase from May 1, 14 until April 30th, 15 for an amount not to exceed $577 per ton delivered. Funds for this are available in line item 55591, 555-25464. I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome. Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Item H, request to award the sewer route control contract. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to award the sewer route control contract to Duke's Route Control of Syracuse, New York for an amount not to exceed $33,750. Funds for this project are available in line item 555-9160-27043, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Passes, Mayor.
I request approval of the motor fuel tax resolution. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to approve the motor fuel tax resolution for the purposes of being able to bid and purchase certain materials, and I so move. I think you can voice vote that one, Mayor.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item J, request adopting the resolution for calling of the letter of credit number LBT 1114. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to adopt the resolution authorizing the city engineer to send a letter to Libertyville Bank and Trust Company informing them that Robert and Roger Schwab have failed to complete the required subdivision improvements and calling the letter of credit, would that be, I guess, hashtag LBT 1114. The city of Waukegan will complete these improvements with the letter of credit funds, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Item K, request to award the Tyler subdivision completion of public improvements. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to waive formal bidding and award the Tyler subdivision completion contract to Peter Baker and Son Company of Lake Bluff, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $20,000, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
And item L, request to award the rebid of the water plant entry stairs. Motion, this is a repeat from finance also. Motion to recommend the city council authorize the proper city officials to award the contract to the low qualified bidder of Carmen Construction of Waukegan, Illinois, for an amount not to exceed $122,800. Funds for this project are available from bond proceeds in line item 555-916027018, and I so move.
Motion by Alderman Moiseo, second by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please,
I'd
Mr.
rather
Clerk.
not make the second, Your Honor.
Okay, second by Alderman Valco.
Thank you.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsome.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
No.
There is no old business.
Your Honor, real quick,
Go ahead.
I'd just like to also comment on the fact of these houses coming down. We've taken down 7, we got 3 more in the hopper and 10 getting ready to go. The controversy, they could also call me or talk to me if they'd like to, but these things, think of if you live next to one. Of all the problems it would cause, it's just a crime scene waiting to happen. The summer comes, we got to worry about cutting the grass. I mean, we all know up here how many phone calls we get about grass. Can they cut the grass? Can they cut the grass? Well, in these properties, they weren't getting cut, and we got to somehow try to get somebody over to cut the grass. We got to try to chase down this and that, all that. Building Commissioner Marion has to worry about his staff, worrying about going over to make sure the place is secure. All these things are a drain on the city. And we finally, after all, I've been trying and trying and trying. I know me and Alderman Cunningham, we're passionate about getting these things taken care of, and I'm glad the mayor has, and Tom and Dave have spearheaded this, along with the legal department, to get these things taken down. There's no hope for some of these properties, just no hope. They've got to come down, so I'm glad we got this rolling, and I want to just keep rolling with it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Tom, please tell your men how much I appreciate what they've done. I was there for the first one taken down. It took about an hour. Edie and I were at the last one. It took 22 minutes. I was there today, and he took us 2-story down in less than an hour. So please commend him. Thank you.
It's a win-win.
There is no old business, there are no reports or communications. New business, approval of payroll dated March 7th, 2014, in the amount of $1,428,981.06. Motion by Alderman Valco, seconded by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham. Alderman Conken. Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Jempass.
Aye.
Item B, approval of bills dated March 17th, 2014, in the amount of $772,192.58. Motion by Alderman Valco, second by Alderman Newsom. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Aye.
Alderman Valco.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Beedling. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Jempass.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, I neglected to place on file the Treasurer Schwab's report. I'd like a motion to place on file. Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Conken. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Alderman's time, Mr. Clerk? Yes. Oh, is it on Brian? Where's that? It's not on mine. Oh, it's on C. No, it's not on mine. Okay. Item C, monthly treasury report, place on file for February 2014. Motion by Alderman Newsom, second by Alderman Conken. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The Alderman's time, Mr. Clerk.
Alderman May.
Thank you. And happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone who came out to City Council on St. Patrick's Day. I just want to thank the mayor for making the Lakefront or Beach Committee an official committee. We've been talking about it for a while. I'm really excited about this opportunity. If you know me, you know that the beach is the reason I'm sitting up here today. I'm very much looking forward to working with the Park District. I've already set up a meeting with Greg Petrie to talk about beach issues. I've already talked with the chairman from the Port District, from the commission there, about partnering with them. And I've been highly involved with the Waukegan Harbor Community Advisory Group for years, and Susie Schreiber and I actually had a conversation today, so we're going to hit the ground running. The beach is a lot more than about going swimming and building sand castles. I've been highly involved and keep on top of all the dredging projects that happen down at the harbor. I would see this committee working in tandem with the Port Authority on events and better utilizing Cyber Park and the areas that the Port Authority owns. There's just so much involved down there. You know, we have dredging coming up that's going to provide us a cap for the Coke plant site, which gets us that much closer to development. So I'm really excited, Mayor. I appreciate your confidence in me, and I will do my best on that committee. And I know that I have a good team with me. As far as we're talking about foreclosures and dilapidated houses, I wanted to give a shout out to a group in Waukegan called RTO Property. If you see these white signs with the red banner on top all over town, in the past 2 years, there's this group. They have rehabbed over 100 homes in Waukegan, and they do rent to own. That's what RTO stands for. They help people who can't qualify for mortgages. So there's a lot of people, because of the economy, lost their jobs, whatever happened. They're back on their feet, but they can't qualify for a mortgage because their credit's ruined by a foreclosure. This group is rehabbing homes, buying homes, rehabbing them, selling them back to the people with a rent-to-own option, and getting them back on the tax rolls. I toured 2 of them in my neighborhood this weekend, and they're beautiful. One was 4 houses down, and my husband and I wanted to move immediately. So I just wanted to give a shout out to these people. They're, you know, there's this really small group that took 100 homes and really made a difference in our community. And I just wish we could see more people doing that. And they're, you know, everyone wants to talk about there's no housing assistance, that kind of thing. It's a true rent-to-own situation. So shout out to RTO Properties. You guys are doing a fantastic job. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Alderman Valco.
One item. Congratulations to the alderman on her appointment. Thank you. That's all I have.
Alderman Rivera.
I want to thank the police department over the weekend for their police activity in my ward, and I appreciate it very much. You know, drugs and that kind of garbage doesn't belong in our city, so kudos to the police department for their fast reaction. I appreciate it very much. And also, again, to Tom Haggerty and Public Works for taking care of an issue that I had out west. They quickly responded to it, and I appreciate that very much. And happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone.
Alderman Cunningham.
I too want to give a happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. As you all know, Cunningham is an Irish name, last time I checked.
That's right.
Don't be fooled now. I opened up the paper on March the 13th, and I was reading an article that someone disturbed me very much. And the article goes, and is Dan here? Good. I'm glad Dan is here, because I know the Lake County News, formerly known as Waukegan News, son, don't do reporting like this, but the article was county law officials warns parents of rise in teen heroin use. And it was a great article because it was some officers from the Lake County Metropolitan Enforcement Group called MEG, and I hope there's one of our officers in the audience. This has, I don't think they are not part of the Lake County Sheriff's Department. It's just what their name is called. Is that right? I'm talking to my former commander here. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct. They're not part of Lake County, though Lake County probably has an officer in there, but they're part
As we used to as well.
all of Lake County and the state police, sir.
And I hope everyone is outraged by what was said. I'm going to read one article and then get down to where it somewhat disturbed me. Heroin use among middle and high school students has risen in recent years in Lake County, according to Lake County Metropolitan Enforcement Group, MEG, a multi-jurisdictional law enforcement task force dedicated to investigating drug trafficking and distribution, gang activity, weapons offense in Lake County. Speaking before parents at Barrington High School last week, representatives from Lake County MEG explained the dangers of heroin and advised parents that use of the drug has become pervasive. I can guarantee you that in every community in Lake County, there's someone who is addicted to heroin, said Special Agent Sean, I really can't pronounce his last name, but I will spell it, Lewakowski. Please listen. Lekowski and Special Agent Mike Gores began their discussion by telling parents about the so-called Heron Highway, a stretch of I-290 from the northwest suburbs to the west side of Chicago that many addicts in Lake County take to and from Chicago to obtain drug. However, Gores and Lewinsky also warned parents of open-air markets in places like Waukegan in North Chicago. I don't think I have to say anything else. To tell parents that your child can get drugs in Waukegan in North Chicago. I don't know what open air market means, but I'm going to give you my perception of what open air market means. That means you can go to North Avenue in Ridgeland, McAllister and Belvedere, in Waukegan in North Chicago, and there's somebody on the corner selling drugs. Is that what that means? I'm talking to my former police officers here.
Exactly what it is.
That's what it means.
Last time I checked, And I've been living on McAllister, McKinley, even in public housing back in the day, and it was never open air markets. The message should have been, let's watch our children. That's what the message should have been. But to highlight, and maybe it felt good at the time to single out our communities. Now this community, and I speak of Waukegan, of course, we're not probably income per capita, same as those in Barrington. But if a child is being given drugs, I don't care where they live at. Our goal is to get rid of the drug market. And if I take a look at our NET team, more specifically the officer who patrols the first ward, as all of us have our own, I want to say special officer or officer that handles situations like that, they do a dang good job. A dang good job. But to single out those two communities in Lake County, that was wrong. Just flat out wrong. Maybe you don't, I hope you agree with me, but if you disagree with me, and I'm not knocking those officers, I don't know where they get their statistics from, but Mayor, I really believe that our chief needs to come before this council and this community and give the statistics as they appear like we do. And if a death happens to a child, then let us all get on that bandwagon to curb and get rid of these drugs that are hurting our children. I don't want my daughter who's going to college now, she happens to see some kid who goes to Barrington, and I need to stay away from you because you sell drugs. And that's what that means to me. I don't know what it means to you. That's how I decode it. In just a contradiction, the two officers who have both worked undercover added that the stereotype of the intimidating drug dealer is not at all accurate. Instead, they said drug dealers are basically businessmen who want to satisfy and retain their customers. Once you actually talk to these people, they're like your best friend. That is the scary part of me, for me, I mean. Those thug-looking guys, those are not the guys who's dealing drugs to our children. It is this calm, cool, collective guy who can persuade them to start something that's bad for their bodies. This disturbed me, and I called Congressman Snyder. I called Terry Link. I called Rita Mayfield. I called our mayor. I called the mayor of North Chicago, our chief, and the chief of North Chicago. We should be calling these people and say, what are you doing? This is insane. To put a punch on the city of Waukegan in North Chicago like that. I don't believe it, and I hope others don't believe it, but more importantly, I think those parents who were there at that high school should not believe that, but should say we should invite us to get rid of this cancer that is destroying our children. I was a little hyper about it, but I just could not believe that someone would be that reckless in telling parents that we have open air markets in our community. I don't believe, I've never, ever been arrested in the city of Waukegan. It was just disturbing to me, and I had to get it out of my system. I hear the mayor talk about all the new people who are coming aboard, the existing people. The young lady here said 40 years in this community, 40 years of serving and doing things in this community. She's never talked about open air markets, and believe me, she's as tough as my mom. If there were, she would have did it herself. This is what we have to fight on a daily basis throughout this county. That's a great segue to talk about, Mayor. It was a great article how we, the city of Waukegan, are now partnering with the county of Lake. Those are the reports and the kind of news that we need to be getting out to this community. We are trying to build not only just our city, but countywide. But it took a backseat to some mess like this. And if we don't say anything about this, folks, nobody else will. And I'm here to tell you, if you hear the little ripplings in people's mind when they read this because they don't know us. They don't know spending 40 years and trying to improve our quality of life in our community. They don't know this unless we tell this story. So we have to get to this local pioneer press and make them make a retraction that this does not exist in Waukegan. And that is my challenge, Mayor, from every alderman on this council floor. Call those folks up and you give them a piece of our mind that our communities are not like this. We have our challenges. We're supposed to. And you tell me what community doesn't. But this right here is definitely not one of our challenges. And I'll stack our net team against any team on the face of this earth to get rid of this mess that is killing these children throughout the county, but more particularly in Waukegan and North Chicago. That's my event of the day. Hopefully the mayor is doing the activities for St. Patrick somewhere. Thank you.
Alderman Conken.
Thank you. Just like to start out with a happy St. Patrick's Day also. Also, I'd like to recognize a couple of our firefighters. Our lieutenants have 20 years of service today. I got a notice. Thank you, Chief. Lieutenant Dave Paff and Lieutenant Dan Kublank. They both started on March 14th in 1994, so they have 20 years of service. Congratulations to them. I also would like to mention that I got to see our firefighters, especially our paramedics, in action over the weekend. I had to spend some time Saturday at the emergency room at Victory and for a family member. And I had to be there quite a while, and it was really funny because starting at about 9 o'clock, I saw the same three guys walking in about every hour on the hour. So I knew that they stayed busy, and they came in, they were professional, they said hello every time. I couldn't believe I was seeing the same guys. They were constantly making trips. They did a fine job, and it was good to see them, good to talk to them. I also got to meet the new doctor that's in charge of our paramedics, Dr. Franklin. He seemed like a very intelligent and well-spoken individual. Obviously, he's a doctor, he's very intelligent, but he seemed very excited about working with our paramedics. So they just did a great job, and Chief, if you'd pass that on, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, that's all I have.
Sam, you sort of brought up a memory I had earlier this year. I was at a parent meeting at Carmel High School, and there was a Mundelein officer that said the same thing. I proceeded with an email to his chief and said, I don't think anybody in this time, day and age would be that naive to think that drugs are only located in two communities. I mean, you can get heroin in Mundelein, Round Lake, Barrington. You can get it pretty much anywhere you want. It's not just centrally located in one or two cities. And I was quite upset as you were. I just decided to take an email to his chief and tell him I was a little bit upset about it, and basically what I just said about, I can't believe a guy who'd been under force for 10 years would have his head in the sand and make a statement like that, singling out one or two communities. I just don't understand it, but I don't know if it was dealt with or not, but I sent an email off, so maybe I should have said more, but hopefully it was taken care of. And just thanks to Tom Haggerty for hopefully the winter that'll never end is over. I hope. It might be cold, but maybe I'm jinxing us. I hope not. Tom says we still have enough salt if need be. We're still all right with salt, but I can't believe this winter, and the job that Tom and the guys at Public Works did was just outstanding. The bad news about it is we were already in bad shape with roads. This did not make it any better. Me and Tom are in discussions about what we need to do. Obviously, we're going to council. We got to figure something out, because I mean we were already in bad shape, as you guys all know. But it got worse, and I don't drive the city like Tom does. I drive my ward and a little bit here or there and around town, but I don't obviously drive like he does. And he showed me a list, and I about fell off the chair. And that was before the winter, and a little bit that he's been able to get around lately. So we have to formulate a plan and figure out, again, the biggest thing is we know where it's a problem, and we know where it's at. How are we going to pay for it? That's our challenge. We know the problem, we know where they're at. How are we going to pay for it? That's the challenge we got to come up with. Thank you.
Alderman Beedling.
It's beginning to warm up. I would ask the people that put up Christmas decorations, their exterior Christmas decorations, to please take them down. Nothing makes a neighborhood look shabbier than driving down the street and seeing Christmas lights hanging from a house. Please pick up the litter in your yard, parkway, in the street in front of your house. And speaking of litter, we have a problem in this community with companies that deliver newspapers. I'll start with the Chicago Tribune. I don't know what they claim their circulation numbers are, or if there's a difference between paid circulation and what they throw out on people's parkway. But as I walk my dog, I see lots of Chicago Tribunes out there that apparently people aren't paying for. They must just give their driver an X amount of papers and, okay, get rid of all of them. My mom subscribes, and I believe it's $75 a quarter, so I don't think anybody who's paying $300 a year for a newspaper is going to leave it piling up on their driveway apron or the parkway or on top of the snow. And we have an ordinance against that, but there doesn't seem to be a penalty in there. In section 14-70, 60 has a penalty provision, 80 does. So would that mean that there's no penalty? The ordinance states if you're going to deliver an unsolicited newspaper, it has to be placed on a doorstep, not thrown in the front yard or the parkway or the driveway apron. La Raza has been distributing papers on the south side of the 4th Ward. I think they were called today by our code compliance officer, Tony Kuval. And La Jolla does it as well. And people apparently don't want to read these newspapers, and the litter just piles up. Matter of fact, the Sun-Times had a promotion, I think it was last year. They put their paper, they didn't roll it up into a folded bag. It was in a full bag, and it rained real hard one day. And these papers they threw in people's driveway aprons, well, the rain washed it on the street. These papers rolled, they covered the storm sewer in the middle of the street, and the street flooded. And my neighbor, former Waukegan police officer, his daughter's car was parked out front, and the street filled up so much that the water flooded her car. This is a problem. I think we have to make these companies comply with our ordinance. If they want to give out newspapers for free, then they have to place it on the doorstep. If people don't want them, you have a right to call them up and tell them you don't want it, and they're supposed to comply with that as well. So we have a massive litter problem in this community. You go down Washington Street, any of the major thoroughfares down the side streets, we got to get out there and pick up the litter ourselves. You know, the city can't do that. The street sweeper might pick up some, but some people are of the attitude that, well, I didn't throw it there. Teach your children not to litter, don't litter yourselves, and let's try to clean up our neighborhoods. We have a lot of vacant homes, and they're not going to sell as readily if the neighborhood looks sloppy. We have another ordinance regarding garbage cans. Your lid is supposed to be closed. I go down, I take a trip every garbage day, and there are a lot of garbage cans full over the top, lid open, bags ripped open by raccoons, squirrels, cats. I don't know what's going on in those homes, but in the very least, I think they need to learn how to pack their garbage, or they need to buy another garbage can. It just looks very bad on garbage day. You go down some of these streets and it looks like massive overcrowding, or people are just sloppy with packing their garbage. The recycling cans, full over the top, whole boxes put in there, whole milk jugs. Break the boxes down, flatten them. Step on the milk jugs, flatten those. There's plenty of room in those big cans. Let's start using our brains, try to clean up our community, and present a better image for those that come and visit. Thank you.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest.
Thank you. I guess I'll start with the way the town looks right now. It's just the time of season when the town looks like this. The snow is melting, the curbs are dirty. We still can't get the street sweeper out there because part of the curb is still frozen. But I would encourage homeowners to get out on your curb with a broom, sweep it up, take your parkway, clean it up. It doesn't take that much effort. Recycling, you mentioned that. We have a recycle bin now. I don't put mine out, but every probably third Monday, but I do recycle. But I see some garbage cans completely overloaded, but no recycling cart alongside. They don't take the effort to recycle. And we're supposed to be getting some money back on recycling, and we're paying the garbage company to pick up your recyclables every week. And I don't think we quite got that contract right yet, because a lot of people don't put it out every week. So I've asked for us to work on our parkways, get out on the curb and pick up the litter. Again, we ought to encourage people not to litter, and we ought to start finding them when they have no concerns for our city. Just throw stuff out the window and let it go to the curb. We need to start enforcing our ordinance on littering. Yeah, I guess that's about it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Tempest. Audience time, Jane Ferry.
I'm Jane Ferry, 531 Leith Avenue, and Executive Director of Waukegan Main Street. Thank you to Mr. Mayor and the city officials who came to the grand opening and ribbon cutting of Sidecar Studios in the historic Karcher Art Space. There were approximately 125 people, as the mayor said, and it would be really wonderful to see the rest of City Council so enthused as the mayor was, to come out there and enjoy the growth in downtown Waukegan. This grand opening represented a lot of work on a number of people's behalf, and it was fun to see the excitement and enthusiasm. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the city council coming out and enjoying those kinds of wins in our downtown. The next Art Walk is Saturday, April 19th, so mark your calendars. You can come out and enjoy that event. You don't have to wait until the 19th to come out to downtown. Three Brothers Theater, their first show of the season, is closing this weekend. It's Sleepwalk with Me, a 90-minute, very funny one-man show. Three Brothers is at 115 North Genesee Street. St. Baldrick's Shave a Life Hair for Hope will be at Greentown Tavern on Sunday, March 23rd. Have your head shaved to beat childhood cancer, or if you're a little chicken like me, I don't think I have a nice round head, you can donate to others. Greentown Tavern is at 110 South Genesee Street. Folk Music of the World is also on March 23rd at 4 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church at 122 North Martin Luther King, right next door. These are just a couple of the events that are going on. All the events, these and others, are listed on the calendar at waukeganmainstreet.org. We also send out a weekly email listing of all events. If you'd like to be on that email, you can send me a note, jane@waukeganmainstreet.org, and I'm happy to add you to the list. I have just two other items. One, I just want you to be aware that I will be talking to Mr. Haggerty in Public Works about getting more garbage cans in downtown Waukegan. I talked to him a little bit before this meeting, and we'll talk again after. And the second one is to mark your calendar for Lunch with the Mayor, which is May 12th. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for putting that on your calendar. More details to come about that. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ms. Berry. With that, a motion adjourned by Alderman May, second by Alderman Conk, and all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming.